come to child's pose on our mat and greet our practice there. So as you find your yoga mat, knees a bit apart, big toes together, fold your torso in and stretch your arms out in front. Let your arms and your head be heavy down onto your yoga mat. And a great alternative is to be more forward with your seat higher. Feel free to try either out. Just greeting this practice, this time, by turning in. A soft moment here first. Take in your breath. Empty it out. Inhale, fill up again. Exhale, empty out. A reminder here at the beginning of practice that every breath is that new cycle, new opportunity. Take in, release out. Stretch the arms out as far as you can now in front. Come up to fingertips. Lift the forearms, the elbows, and the upper arm bones to the sky. And then walk both hands over to the right side. Reach the left hand a little further than the right to get that extra pull and stretch along the left side of the torso. And then walk it across the center on over to the second side. Perfect. Back into the middle. Come up to all fours. Find cat and cow here. Just moving the spine back and forth. I always like to take things just a little bit slower on Thursdays. Give the body some time. Enjoy the stretch components of the movements. All right, downward facing dog. Hands a little bit further out in front, and then tuck your toes and lift up and back. Take your feet as wide as the sticky mat as you try down dog in this way. And then pedal out the feet. Take a whole breath to bend the right knee and straighten the left leg. And then switch and a whole breath there with a bent left knee and a straight right leg. Lift the heels up towards the sky, bend your knees down low. Again, shift the seat higher up. And then again, straighten the legs and set the heels low towards the yoga mat. Look forward now in between your hands. Walk the hands more towards the left side so that you have room to swing the right foot forward into a low lunge. Both hands on the inside of the right foot. And then go forward and back here a little bit. Bend and straighten the right knee. Using still most of the width of your yoga mat. Keep the right knee bent. Swing the right foot backwards to downward facing dog. And then second side, so if I walk my hands a little more towards the right, there's room. Swing the left foot forward into that lunge. Left foot, both hands on the inside, taking up the whole space, the whole width of the mat, I should say, and then straighten and bend. Okay, take it back to downward facing dog. And then bend the knees a lot and walk your hands backwards to the feet. Ragdoll pose here. Let the upper body hang pretty heavy. Hold on to the elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. And slowly roll up to standing. Roll the shoulders up and back. And forward and down a couple of times. Just stand, take up the width of your mat, open up the hands, palms open beside you. Eyes can be open or closed, just kind of take it in. And then a nice slow walk up to the front end of your yoga mat. From mountain pose at the top of the mat, inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. And change to dog pose. Next, inhale, look to your hands. Make your way forward, a walk, a step, a jump. Inhale, half lift, extend from hips to head. Fold over your legs. Stand up, reach the arms high with you. Palms together, center of the chest. Do it all over again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Plank pose. Lower to the mat. Cobra. Again, downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. Move to the front. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Okay, changing it up here. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale and fold. Keep the right foot forward. Step your left foot back into your low lunge. Add the twist, right hand high. Keep the left fingertips on the ground. Bring the right hand to the inside of the foot. Spin the back heel down, down dog lunge now. Walk the hands out towards the front left corner of the mat. Hands can always walk even further towards the long edge of the mat to give you a little bit more room and space in the hips. Do push a lot of weight into the back foot and try to widen out the front knee, always over the second and third toes. Then bring everything back in around the front foot. Lift up the back heel again and set the left knee down to the mat. Walk the hands up to your front thigh. Hips can slide a little down and forward. Make sure as you slide the hips down and forward, you still stay really strong and lifted in the legs themselves, though. And then take the arms up. Bend at your elbows. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in towards each other, but as if you're trying to push the elbows at the same time away from each other. And that little contraction there can help you safely take the upper back bend a little deeper. Stretch the arms straight again, and then lower the hands around the front foot. Pick up the back knee and step back to plank. Guide all the way down to the yoga mat and then reach the hands back behind you. Turn the palms to the sky and lift everything up. Lift, lift, lift. One more breath in this lift. And then lower down. And now child's pose, push back. Change to downward facing dog. Look forward to the hands. Try a jump. You ready? Little bend in the knees. Jump. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand, reach both arms up to the sky. Palms together, center the chest. Second side, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Keep the left foot forward, step the right foot back. Twisted lunge, left arm up to the sky. Really work here to pull the left hip back in space. Don't let the butt stick out to the side. And then lower the left hand to the inside of your foot. Spin back heel down. So I've lined up about heel to heel here, and then walk the hands out for that down dog lunge. Keep the weight mostly in the feet, and I'm just reaching out to the fingertips. Okay, we walk the hands back in around the front foot, pick up the back heel, set the back knee down. As you walk the hands up to the front thigh, again, squeeze the front heel back and the back knee forward. Slide the hips a little down and forward. Imagine lifting from the base of the pelvis all the way high, arms up. Bend at your elbows again. Squeeze in, tips of the shoulder blades towards each other, even as the elbows try to extend away from one another. And then curling kind of up and over the highest point of the chest that you can access. Re-straighten the arms. And lower them down around the front foot. Pick up the back knee, slide back to plank. With control, lower it flat down to your yoga mat. And again, hands back behind you, but try interlacing the hands. And you can say no thanks and just keep them open. If the interlace works, keep it there and lift up. Again, take one more breath here. And then we lower it down and child's pose, push back. Change to downward facing dog. Let's try that jump one more time. Think hips up as you bend the knees and jump it all the way to the hands. Inhale, half lift, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky, and take palms together, center the chest. Couple of breaths here. Notice the rate of your breath, a little extra bit of warmth in the body from the movement. Okay, a little play with the balance here. If you take the hands out in front of you, but like a wide V, and then lift the right knee up. Good, take the same hand to the inside of the leg, curl forward to try to hold on to the outside of your foot. Stand up as tall as you can again, press down through the standing leg. That opposite hand could always be more supported along a wall. And try extending, extending, extending the right leg out to the side. Good, it doesn't have to go all the way straight. Instead, think head straight up and down. Leg as straight as it'll go. And then bring it all in. Set the foot down, a little bit of a shake. We're going to try this one more time later in the class too. So I wanted to do it here to give a good base, an offering of where we're starting from. So left knee up. Another good starting point is to hold the front of the shin and take the opening in the hip out to the side. Sometimes easier for folks to get the hold of the foot from that angle. And just kind of play with it, what's working for you. You might surprise yourself on one side or the other. Push down through your standing leg a lot. Lift up on the kneecap. Try to tone the quad of that right standing leg here. And then bring it all back in. Give things a little bit of a shake. Okay, let's do a few poses that'll help make that perhaps a little bit more doable in a few more minutes. So wide-legged stance, stand facing the long edge of your yoga mat. Turn your right toes out. Before we do arms here, I want you to hinge and send your head towards the right toes. Your left hip, from the left hip to the foot, really pressing energy down into the ground. And then just walk the right hand as far down the leg as it'll go. Turn the chest so you're open to the side and look up towards the sky. And then lastly, take the top arms straight up to the sky as well. Bring the left hand back to your waist. Look back down towards your right foot. Right hand goes back to the waist, to the hip, so you have to use the core to really engage there, no help of the hand. And bring your torso back upright. Okay, slow in and out of it on the second side as well, so change the feet. With the hands at the hips, we're looking to find those front anterior hip points that kind of stick out. We want them both to face towards the side as much as possible, rather than turning towards the front of your mat. You stay open. Okay, lean the head first. You might notice that your back hip point wants to start turning down the more that you lean the head over, so you have to find that balancing point. And then slide your left hand down, your left shin. And my hand does stop at my shin. It doesn't have to go all the way down by any means. And then there's a tone and turn in the abdomen and the chest to make it easier to turn the head and for it to still feel okay. And then top arm up. Take in a couple of breaths. It's looking really nice there. And then lower the top hand again. Shift to look back down towards the left foot. Left hand to the waist. And finally torso upright. And toes turn parallel to one another. And then wide-legged forward fold. Take it down, hands to the ground. Different options here to stay on fingertips to give yourself a few inches of height rather than the flat palms. If the hands are having still a harder time reaching down to the ground, just bend the knees and that offers that gap in space. Okay, right hand out to the side. And again, tone and turn in the abdomen to take a twist here. And look up. A little more about the twist, less about the stretch in the legs. Lower the right hand down. And take the left hand out to the side. And again, tone and turn in the abdomen to take the left hand up to the sky. I'm trying my best to keep the hips pretty square, knowing that a little is going to give, and that's fine. Okay, both hands come down. And now walk the hands more in line with your feet. Send your head more towards the ground. Maybe a little straighter in the legs. Find the strength on the front side of the legs. Again, that lift of the kneecap, tone in the quad to safely, fully stretch down the back side of the leg. Look towards your front foot. Spin yourself into a low lunge. And then step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Remember that wider leg down dog. Try that one again. So feet as wide as the yoga mat. When I'm really looking to find length and stretch in the practice, I always like to take all the poses just a little wider. Create the greater space and ease in low back and hamstrings. Okay, bring the knees down to the mat. Sit all the way down on your bum. Stretch the legs out in front of you. We're doing this one a lot this month. Cradle your right leg. Or seated pigeon pose. You can do that by holding on foot and knee. A little bit of movement. And our other options are around the forearms. A little more intense there. More intense still. Eye of the elbow, the crease of the elbow around the foot and knee. So any of those three. And if you're wondering which of the three might be the best, one thing we're really looking for here and to help to progress how this pose is helping us along is instead of having that right knee out to the side, broader than the right shoulder, we're looking to find the way that we can hold it in which the right knee and right shoulder are right at the same line as one another as much as possible. So even if it isn't the deeper hold, but you can get the knee over the line of the shoulder and straight up towards the sky here, you might realize that's really helping to lengthen out through the outer hip and IT band. And then we're going to lower the leg all the way back down to the ground. A little bit of a shake, and try the second side. So at first, there's a lot of movement. That knee is really waning out to the side, giving yourself some space to get into it. And then as you hook a little deeper, rather than keeping that knee out, should pull knee over the line of the shoulder. It just takes a little bit of extra work. That lifted foot, spread through your toes, push through your big toe, and as if you're wrapping back along the pinky toe. And that nice flex in the foot is going to activate the muscles on the outer calf, which starts to wrap around the knee. Ligaments engage rather than stretch a little more, and they'll be happy that way. Okay, let go of this and give it all a little bit of a shake. And then take Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, and have a good foot and a half between your pelvis and your heels. And then lean forward. So face almost to your feet. And reach the hands out long in front of you. Add in a little more energy. Really push the feet in towards each other to extend the knees out in either direction. So there's a little extra intensity in the abduction, abduction. Okay, and then come back up and pull the knees in towards each other. Lie down on your back now and hug the knees into your chest. Send the left leg straight and hover about 6 inches off of the ground. 6, 12 inches, something like that. Left leg straight and hover. Okay, now can you straighten the right leg and hold behind the thigh, or a little higher, hold behind the calf. So legs are in a wide scissor. Okay, let the hands go into a T shape on the ground. Cross the right leg more towards the left, just a little bit. Cross the center line of the body. And then back to the center. And then without holding onto the right leg, take it more towards the right hand. And really extend, extend, push out through your toes. And then back into the middle and hug both knees into your chest. So those two cross-leg positions, not that different than what we might typically do in a class, but usually we're holding on to our legs with our hands or a yoga strap, having you do it all more strength-based here. Okay, send the right leg out, and then start by extending the left leg, and you do get to hold either behind the thigh or slide your hands up to hold behind the calf. It's a little more active range of motion. Might be the more technical use here. Okay, hands out to the T shape. And then we're doing across the midline first. And the left leg kind of across the midline. Might again feel that IT band stretch on the outer hip. Strong abdominal work. back to the middle, and then send the leg more towards the left. Point as long and hard as you can out through the toes. And then it comes back towards the center line. And fold the knees into the chest. Take happy baby for just a moment. Knees wide. Flex the feet like you're trying to push the feet onto the sky, but using the hands to pull the thighs down. Okay, and then we're going to flip all the way up and over to downward facing dog. You can think about how that might work for a moment, and then give yourself a good little rock, maybe a couple of them, to come up and over to downward facing dog. Any way we get there. Lift your right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Bend your knee and open the hip. Point the knee more up towards the sky. And then brush all the way forward to pigeon. Set the right knee behind the right wrist. Lower the left knee down and then scoot, scoot, scoot back. Come down to your forearms. About 4 full deep breaths here in sleeping or kneeling pigeon. And then today we go right back into it. Walk the hands back up, lift the chest, tuck the back toes, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, point the knee more up to the sky, toes more towards the right side. Okay, pull the knee into the chest, hover forward to plank, and then lower the left knee behind the left wrist. Heel towards the right hip, walk the right leg back again. That's sleeping pigeon, second side. Just 4 or 5 breaths. Again, walk back to the hands, lift the chest, tuck the back toes, and find downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot and walk your hands backwards to your feet. Keep all 10 fingers on the floor here at the back of the mat. Try your legs as straight as they'll go in our standing forward fold of Uttanasana. So we're really thinking of lifting from the heels all the way to the butt. And then to safely come up, little bend in the knees, bring the hands to the hips, point the elbows to the sky, and bring the torso upright. Okay, I mentioned that first balance that we did, we would try again. Feel free to adjust where you are on your mat, off of your mat, against a wall or not. Take your arms out in front of you, and again, lift the right knee up towards the center. This time around, I'm going to take the left hand to the left hip. An extra bit of a reminder to stay steady on that standing leg. Swing the right hand to the inside of the right foot to grab hold, then of the outside of the foot. Right arm to the inside to hold the outside of the foot. Okay. Lift the heel about in line with the knee first. Think happy baby that we just did on our back. And then from there, you go straighter as works. Stay with your breath. Change up the hands as best to help you in the balance. And then lower it all the way back down to the floor. Stand on 2 feet and give it a little bit of a shake. Second time, second side. Left knee up. Again, perhaps taking that right hand to the right hip point, keeping a good press down into the right foot. Then wrap the arms to the inside of the leg. You can really round forward, do what you need to hold on then. Hand to the outside of the foot. I'm giving just that one clasp option. Of course, you could also hold the big toe. Lift the heel first with the knee bent. Once we have the angles we need, then working the leg as straight as it needs to go for today. Keep your gaze steady. A couple more breaths right here. Play in the pose. If you fall out, no big deal. Try it again. All right, let's take both feet back down to the mat. Stand with your feet as wide as the yoga mat. Lift both arms up to the sky. Let it all release and go down. Come into Malasana, yogi squat. So turn the toes a little bit out, the heels in. Drop the seat lower. Do keep the feet flat here. So if your heels start to lift up, keep the butt higher. Sometimes rolling the yoga mat and giving your heels a little bit more of a lift can be the way to go as well. Dip your right shoulder more towards your inner thigh here. Look up towards the sky. Look up towards your left side. And then switch to the other way. Left shoulder dips more towards the left inner thigh. Try to look up towards the right. As you come back to the middle, catch yourself, have a seat, and stretch the legs all the way out. I'm going to turn again towards the long side of my mat. Feel free to do the same, though you don't have to. We're taking a wide-legged straddle. So I just like to turn to the side because it keeps it all contained on the yoga mat. If I sit with my butt at the back long edge and then extend the heels towards the front long edge, something like that. Flex the feet, point the toes straight up towards the sky and the knees straight up towards the sky. All the work that we've done today also aid in finding this pose, hopefully a little tiny bit easier than maybe it would have been 45 minutes ago. Walk your hands out in front, bringing the torso a bit more down. Stay active in the muscles of the legs. And walk both hands more towards the right. Keep the hands on the inside of the foot. Walk the hands back across the center so we're not staying terribly long. Take your time to walk all the way over to the other side. Again, flex the feet, toes, knees, trying to point up towards the sky the whole time. Some of the battle is just keeping that particular alignment. And then walk the hands back in towards the middle and upright. Good. This is now more of a lean in the torso. Take the arms up. Think of that triangle pose that we did and lean towards the right side. It doesn't have to go all the way down. Hands are not assisting. And take it back upright. Good. Lean towards your left. One side of your butt might come up. That's okay. Come back to the center. Okay, go forward only as much as you can then come back upright. Strong in the pelvic floor, strong in the abdomen and hips. Come on, upright. Hold on to the outside of your legs. Gently help yourself back in. Little hug here. All right, and then take a moment to add in any last little unwinding movements that you would like. If you'd like to lie down for Shavasana, find your way there. If you'd like to stay in a seated position today, stay in a seated position. As you unwind and find your stillness, if it's okay for you, close the eyes. Awareness goes to breath, nothing else. While you are more than welcome to stay in this still position for longer, you're in your space, you own your time. For those ready, needing to move along, if you're lying back, come back to a seated position. Once in our seated position, draw the palms together in front of your heart space. Giving yourself so much gratitude for treating your body with kindness and beauty through this practice. Knowledge of the strength, steadiness, and the calming that make us able to do these big things. Bowing in gratitude to those that joined us as well. And for the practice itself, we'll close in the sound of Om, sing along, listen, or tune it out. Empty out your breath here. Take a deep breath in. Namaste.